Um, sorry. Okay, so, hey, I've been thinking about doing a little bit of, like, commentary for my kind of older animatics, probably, like, halfway through them. I don't know. We'll see how long I do this. It'll be kind of a serious thing, but, I thought it would be fun to go through and talk about them and stuff as just kind of a way to, if you guys want to know any critiques I have on my old stuff or things I think about them, or if you guys wanted to know, I don't know, the circumstances and why I decided to make them. So we'll start with some of the older, like my oldest stuff. The oldest thing I have on here is about 5 years ago. Let's find out the exact date. I know none of these I don't think are close to really an anniversary. Oh, you can see I've recently been going through and looking at them. So the first thing I have is this darn thing. It's an AMV, the first AMV I ever made for Kingdom Hearts. 2012. Good times. And I remember I made this because I really love AMVs. I now struggle more with them than I used to when I was younger, more in the fact of, like art theft and that kind of thing. But I have actually, so I don't watch them as much anymore because I end up feeling guilty, like, oh, look at all these good people's art, and they probably don't even know it's getting used, and they probably didn't ask for permission. But I actually have come across a few where they are like, here's a link to the document that has every single artist listed on it, and I've always been like, hey, that's kind of cool. As long as you got permission first. Because it's different now that I actually am an artist-ish. So look at all this cool stolen I got from Google searches. Good, yeah, that sure is the thing I did. It's awful. Like, I've become, like, kind of stuck up about, animatics, where I can nitpick them and say, ooh, this is good, and ooh, this is bad, and in case you guys were curious, ooh, this is very, like, bad. There's nothing to this. But I remember I couldn't listen to this song for, like, two years or something after this, because I just listened to it so much putting this together, even though it doesn't even go with the song, like, it doesn't go to the beats or anything. But one thing I have found cool about, I did learn by doing this, and you can tell at the end here I kind of started to get the idea of going with the beats, but never actually went back and did it right, is whenever you try to do something that you've seen other people do, you realize how hard it actually is. So, like, after I did this 5 years ago, I started to, like, really look at how people made their stuff, and because it just made me realize how it's, like, super hard to make these. To get the timing right and stuff, it kind of sucks. So that's what that was. Then we have, these three over here, that are all Paranatural AMVs I did, which is when I more recently kind of revisited my YouTube channel as somewhere more than a place to kind of keep, like, videos I like and that kind of stuff. So, I think these are the only three. Oh, I actually have 4 now. I have 4 Paranatural AMVs and a work in progress. And I mostly made these because I had found the comic Paranatural, which if you guys have not read this webcomic, please read it. It is amazing. The art is gorgeous, and the story is, like, so great. And so, basically, I wanted to make something because I felt like it deserved more attention than what it was getting, and so I wanted to do something for it. And it actually ended up creating this really interesting thing. Let's see, this was, so almost 2 years ago. This was almost 2 years ago. It created this interesting thing where, because I started doing this, then Katie started to do it. And so for the most part, we're like the two chief, we were for a while at least, until I kind of got a little burned out doing it, the two chief AMV people for the Paranatural, like, little baby fandom. And it was kind of funny, because there was this one time when, like, Zach Morrison, the author of the comics, I'm pretty sure he made a post that was like, Google's Paranatural AMV to see what, or something, and I was like, hey, that's, like, basically us. And so that was neat. I love this comic, and I love AMVs. And so these were lots of fun. It's just really tedious to go through like over 1,000 pictures trying to find the right ones you want for the right moments. And then you get halfway through and you realize that you haven't been including this character that you wanted to be including the entire time. And so these are like surprisingly tedious. But lots of fun to do too with the payoff. The other thing is that we had to get creative with getting the timing and stuff right for these. Because with the timing, you have to, like, make sure that, well, the program that I use for these, which is, even though I've changed programs I use for the most part, if I were to make more Paranatural AMVs, which I might in the future, I would still use Splice because it's way intuitive for doing the zoom out, zoom in thing, you know? It's really good for that and for transitions. I have a harder time figuring that kind of crap out on Power Director because I'm pretty sure that's something you pay for to do it, and I only use free because I'm poor. But these were a fun thing that we did, and I remember like just really loving doing these. They go, of course, in order of basically what I'm proudest of. Dog Days Are Over was really good, but then Wolf I experimented more with, and Mountain Sound I really thought turned out really well, and I'm still pretty passionate about how it turned out. Because as you go, naturally, you figure out how to do it better, what beats you want to pay. You can't hit every beat in an AMV, so you have to pick which ones you do want to hit and which ones you aren't going to hit, or find subtle ways to hit multiple ones. So I got better about doing that, and better at timing it in general later on. And then moving on, we get the first animatic I posted. I mentioned this in a post on my Tumblr a little while ago, but like a day ago or something. But my first animatic, it's debatable. I still haven't actually gone through all my old notebooks because I keep them all on a shelf in theory in order, but I've kind of messed up the order because I've taken them out. In theory in order though, and you can see because for the longest time, when I listen to music, I orient it to a story. Like, I probably started doing this around 7th grade. I orient it to a story that I was working on, so like my OCs or something, and then I'd like imagine the video in my head, and then eventually I decided to draw it out. And I believe one of the first ones I did was for Katie, and so I did a few, so it's debatable which one's the first one, but this is the first one I posted. And this was before I even knew what Hamilton was. I had only heard this section of Satisfied and maybe Wait For It, because Toasty Hat did a video for Wait For It, and this was from a Short Warriors MAP. No, it wasn't an MAP though. It was a AMV animatic, something that the Noodlers, who are these two really amazing people, you got to check out their stuff, dudes, did. And so I asked if I could do a human version of it because I'm better at drawing people than drawing at cats. I really said, look, there it is. You can see it down there. Satisfied. It's like the cool suggested one by the Noodlers. But so then I did this. And so this was again, testing out the waters, kind of. I didn't know what I was doing. Now I know better, and usually when I do an animatic, I listen to the music constantly, or I have lyrics pulled up while I do it. But when I was doing these a lot, I'd be doing them in the middle of class and just desperately trying to remember the lyrics as I went. And so, well, several of the lyrics, if you go through that, are wrong. And this is on, I don't think it's on an older phone, but I eventually I learned how to take pictures of paper better with this. Oh, and I actually remember now. Wow, a whole thing I wanted to bring up. So here's my other one, which is another one of my early ones, and debatably one of the first animatics I ever did. Whether it was the first or one of the first is debatable, since I also had sketches for this one in a way earlier book, and then I actually put down the whole thing in this sketchbook. But part of the reason why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to put animatics and create them, was because I had realized, it was very disheartening to me because while technically I have the resources to do digital art, I've never been able to get the hang of it. Like, we have good equipment, and Katie has learned to use it. Like, she picks up on it real good, but I just have I struggle with it so much, so I've never really touched it, admittedly. And so I really wanted to kind of make it more commonplace for people to do animatics, but to do them traditionally. Because I felt like traditional artists just kind of got tossed to the wayside for this like really cool thing that was happening. So that's also kind of what my goal was. I was really proud of this video. Lots of the ones I'm really proud of never get lots of attention, which is cool. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you do them for fun. And I do them because I like watching them. I love watching this. And that's what's great for me. And when other people like them, that is awesome. But I also really like this. And so I'm still really proud of it. I hope you guys know that. I am still really proud of all of my stuff, even the crappy ones. This, the congratulations animatic is probably the first animatic I did where I like specifically did do it with kind of in mind, like, ooh, this fandom will probably like this, because it was earlier in the days of Hamilton. I had found the workshop versions of songs, found this song, there was no animatic done for it, and I was like, I am gonna do it. And as you can see, my style has changed so much. I look at these and they're good. It's good. It's definitely an attempt, but it's nowhere near stellar, but I'm still proud of it. It was still great. And I think this is where I started to pick up lots of my... And this sounds like so selfish, like a fan base, but not really. More subscribers. Oh, I don't want to review comments right now. They're probably really old ones. Yeah. And I remember just like being so excited to show this and being so proud of it. Good times. Good times, dudes. I probably only rant about a few more of these, but maybe I'll even skip around a bit, but we get colors. I go through, as you can tell, there's this huge chunk in here that's just Hamilton, because that's what the majority of the people who are watching my stuff were recommending, because I do this less now, not because I'm not open to them, but just because it got too repetitive and I was tired of typing that much. But at the end of every description, I would say feel free to leave suggestions and stuff in the comments, and you guys still totally, like, I love that stuff. But, like, so, sorry, I'll plug in, don't worry, guys. But basically, that's the suggestions I was getting, and so I tried to gear my stuff towards that, because I knew that's what the people wanted. And I liked Hamilton, so it worked well at the time. And so that's just kind of like, sorry, I'm trying to collect my thoughts. Because at the time of this, Hamilton was big, and if you like kind of go down, you can see, because I was really big into the Hamilton stuff, and then there are different things I've gone through where I've just been less receptive, but I've still loved them. But because Hamilton was a big thing, and then I did my own stuff there for a long while, kind of just skipping around. And that's from Dear Evan Hansen. And again, I'm probably going to make this a series of things, so we'll kind of go through these, but just to give you guys an overview, then Be More Chill got popular, and people who probably remembered me from Hamilton then asked me to do that kind of stuff, or I did it, and then people asked me to do more of it. It's been a while. Several months. And all of this chunk up here was done this summer, where for a while in the summer, I was producing an animatic almost like 2 or 3 a week, which was crazy. Probably partially the reason why I'm very burned out at this point. And then I hesitantly step into the like Markiplier and YouTuber community, and now the majority of the requests I get are geared towards that, which is like cool too. But that's just kind of how it goes. As you can see how, depending on the fandom I'm in, that's more of what I do, partially because that's what I'm into at the moment, so that's what I want to make, and that's what people want. And so that's what I'm willing to make, because I like to also make people happy. We'll finish up this row real quick. This is for Colors by Halsey. And this is one I was also really excited for. This is one of the few animatics I've ever made that actually has color in it. And it is completely made in color. It is drawn in a notebook, and then it's not a watercolor notebook, by the way. It's just a regular old notebook. That's why you can see the papers puckering and stuff. But I drew them, then I outlined them, and then I splashed watercolor on them, and then I scanned them, and I had to scan them on my really old laptop because we had my super old printer that a super old scanner would only cooperate with my super old laptop. So each of these took like not an hour, but pretty dang close to load up each of these and get them formatted and then sent to this computer. And so I was just also really excited about this one. And this is one of those ones, I'm pretty sure at least, where I had been really, and like now actually though, it's accumulated a lot of views. Wow, that's actually more views than I thought it had accumulated. But I had been really excited for it, and I had posted, and it just got less of a response than I had hoped. But I was still proud of it. But it did it didn't like quite resonate as well. Probably because it was, again, kind of my own thing that I had wanted to do. And to be honest, most of the time when you do something that you want to do, it will get less views. And you just got to accept that and know that you attract the audience that you serve, if that makes sense. Which is something I've thought about a lot. Like, if you draw lots of fan art, you're going to attract people from that fandom. And when you don't draw things for that fandom, there's a good chance they will leave. And you gotta accept that. If you draw lots of OCs, then you will attract very slowly people who like OCs. And so, I personally like to do both. And just, I like to think I put out there whatever I put out there. That's a bad face. Whatever I put out there because that's what I like. So at the moment right now, I really like YouTuber community, and so I'm drawing things for that. But I also try to include my OCs and stuff in there. Sorry, I just barely realized I haven't really been critiquing my own videos that much. There's not much to say besides the fact that now I include more videos per, not videos per second, hold on, pictures per moment usually. Not necessarily like, that's kind of a blanket statement, but my picture taking and drawing style has improved a lot too. So that's kind of what's changed between these. And this will be the last one for this video, so we'll have wiped out like the first 2 rows. And this is the most popular video on my entire channel. It's from about a year ago, probably closer to a year and a half ago, if I had to guess. It has 84,000, which is by far, like, it is leaps and bounds ahead of any other video I have ever put up. And it's because it's gay. Let's be honest here. I know it. You guys know it. We all know it. It's not because it's, like, fantastic. But, it's for Hamilton's Interlude, which is another workshop song that actually is in the musical, and a lot of people asked about this in the comments, I remember. It is in the musical, but it is not on the soundtrack, because when you go to the musical, you're supposed to not know it's there, so then when it does come up, you're like, ooh, that hit me right in the feels. But then I listened to the workshop, so I knew it was there, so I drew this. And I was very proud of it at the time, but again, facial structure and drawing and like that kind of stuff, I just don't draw like that anymore. But I actually do like how I did this. I did it differently than a lot of people did animatics for Lauren's Interlude. Not a lot of people drew them like this. Like, a lot of them had like ghost stuff going on and that kind of thing, but I like how mine went. Even though like the art had ways to improve by far. And I also remember for the comments for this, like, for months and months afterwards, I could almost guarantee you when I got a notification for a comment that it was from this. If it said, someone's chopping onions, why did you do that, anything like that, it was automatically like, it's for Lauren's Interlude. I tend to burn out by the end of animatics, and almost always the last picture on them is the one I hate the most. So that's the one I hate the most from this entire animatic. And that's almost a blanket statement for, like, the majority of them. But, anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing me rant about my videos for, like, an amount of time. I haven't actually been keeping track of the time. Just enough to know I have to get ready for work now. But I hope you guys found that interesting. And if there's anything else you guys would like me to talk about as I go through and talk about my other videos moving forward to the present, I'd love to hear so that I can try to talk more about what you guys care about, you know? If you wanted me to be more oriented towards how I could have improved these, I'll try to keep that in mind next time. Or if you guys enjoy me just ranting about why and where and who, what, when I drew these, then that's cool too. I hope you guys are having a great day. And if it's not, I hope you guys know that tomorrow is another day. And feel free to chat me up in the comments, etc., etc. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.